a content creator for YouTube is about 1,000 times more stressful than it actually should be, thanks to a complete lack of clear communication from YouTube itself, arbitrarily enforced rules and regulations, constant tweaks and changes and experiments on Google's part that nobody on the platform is warned about, and the constant threat of demonetization hanging over the heads of anyone who's made a livelihood producing videos. It seems that every few months, something new impacts the platform that sends everyone into a tizzy, and the latest shitstorm over the FTC and Coppa has a lot of people on YouTube very genuinely worried. Now, a lot of people have contacted me about Coppa and YouTube telling YouTubers that they've got to comply with Coppa and flag their videos as specifically not aimed at children. A lot of people have said that this could potentially impact myself, that I should be very, very worried about it, and I am a natural worrier. I deal with anxiety a fair bit and I'm prone to catastrophize, but I do have to say, speaking as someone who is constantly worried about YouTube and its platform and its dodgy algorithms and its corporate decisions, I am not overly concerned about this. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying people's concerns, people's worries are not legitimate. It's YouTube. You are always entitled to be worried about YouTube because YouTube is a hellhole. But hopefully I can assuage some concerns that people have. Because I think if you're not explicitly aiming your channel at children, you should be. Now, obviously, I'm not a legal expert, I could be wrong, but you should be okay. So let's talk about recent events that have spurred on this whole controversy, let's talk about Coppa, and let's see if I can't put a few minds at ease. So what is Coppa? That is the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, and it concerns data gathering. Now this is where YouTube's fucked up, because YouTube's targeted ads collect data on anyone watching YouTube videos. And when it comes to kids, YouTube shouldn't have been fucking doing that. So basically, YouTube has violated Federal Trade Commission regulations. They've been gathering data from minors so that they can serve targeted ads to them. Make no mistake, this is entirely on YouTube here. This isn't even about those creepy videos like Pregnant Elsa, Dances with the Joker and Spider-Man. This isn't about kids watching people who are saying fuck or bugger. Now, Google got in trouble for this and has agreed to pay $170 million as part of a huge settlement reached with the FTC. Now, if you have a monetized channel aimed at children under 13, you do have the most valid reason to worry because, well, you're basically up shit creek. Because YouTube cannot run targeted ads on that anymore, because YouTube no longer can collect I say no longer. YouTube should never have been collecting data on kids under the age of 13, and as a result they will no longer be running targeted ads on these channels aimed at children, so kids content is effectively demonetized across the board. However, because of some vaguely written guidelines, they're always fucking vague, people are worried over what will and will not be defined as children's content as videos aimed at kids. The FTC has said, as well as Google, individual content creators could face fines of up to $42,000 if they violate Coppa going forward. Now, Coppa does have some wide-reaching definitions. One example is where they talk about language used in videos targeting kids, saying things like cool could be designated as something aimed at appealing to children. Now, on the surface, that is panic-inducing. Oh, if I say cool, does that mean the FTC is going to fine me? And the answer is, probably not actually. Because for all their faults, and the FTC has many faults, they do employ humans who are capable of understanding context. Where I think a lot of the panic comes from is YouTubers who are used to dealing with the way YouTube runs things. YouTube uses bots, machines, they use automated systems that are incapable of understanding context. And that's led to many problems with false copyright claims and spurious demonetization. Only recently I had a video of mine falsely age-gated because a bunch of Nintendo fans got pissy and reported it, and I appealed it and got it reviewed, and they took the age gate off after someone who understood context actually looked at the video. But the point is this, if the FTC is gonna slap a hefty 40 grand plus fine on someone, they're likely to be pretty careful about where they slap that fine, and they're going to investigate the channel. You won't be dealing with algorithms in that case, you will be dealing with humans who can understand the context of someone someone in a video aiming their content at people over the age of 13 and happening to say cool. And the long and the short of it is if you are one of those people, if you make videos for people over the age of 13 and you happen to say cool, or even talk about a game like Pokemon, the FTC is not that interested in you. If you aren't being willfully deceptive, if you are not making a video specifically for children and lying about it so that you can make ad revenue off collected data, I genuinely believe you will be okay. In the past 2 weeks, I've done about 3 videos on Pokemon. I'm using Pokemon as B-roll footage while I talk about this, but there's simply no chance in hell that the FTC would have a case against me. There is nothing I do that appeals to children. Children don't even like me, they don't watch my work. In fact, I make many jokes at my own expense about how unpopular my channel is because it doesn't appeal to the massive number of kids who are watching YouTube. In fact, at last count, when I last looked at the demographics, less than 1% of my viewers, according to statistics, is under 18. I feel confident talking about Pokemon all day long, knowing that the vast majority, that most, practically all of my viewers are not kids, and that the work I'm doing is not designed to appeal to kids and literally doesn't appeal to kids. The FTC literally has no case against me. The FTC more than likely doesn't give a fuck about me. It's worth noting as well that the FTC isn't exactly well funded. It's not a big department. They do not have the resources, they do not have the staff to run around YouTube slapping fines on millions of channels. It's just not gonna happen. They're gonna have to be careful about where they allocate their resources and make sure that if they do make an example of a channel, it has to be a rock solid example of a channel willfully violating Coppa. Now, this doesn't mean you shouldn't be wary, you shouldn't be concerned. Like I said, I've got less reason to worry about it than most, and I'm still gonna keep an eye on this. And if you are worried and you can afford it, I would suggest you seek some legal counsel, legal advice. Make sure you get all your ducks in a row. Now, YouTube channels can automatically set their entire channel as not aimed at kids. They can also do it for individual videos. YouTube is employing its precious algorithm and automatically flagging a few videos on people's channels as kid-oriented, and if the content creator disagrees with that, they can, last I checked, appeal that with YouTube. But make no mistake, YouTube is trying to put a lot of responsibility on YouTubers. They've given them something else to fear with regards to demonetization. But this is all YouTube's fault. This is YouTube's fuck up that they're now trying to distance themselves from by putting more of the responsibility on us. And this is all on YouTube's head, and YouTube will get in trouble as well as anyone else if they continue to collect data from kids on videos aimed at kids. But specific kids YouTube channels, I mean, they are in trouble. Like, there's no getting around that. Not only will targeted ads be removed, but they won't be able to have things like comments or info cards, end screens, notifications, pretty much all the stuff that can help a channel grow. And there's no answer for that. Like, most of the people in my circles, in my sphere who I've seen worried about this, I think that while they should still be concerned, they are pretty much gonna be okay. But if you're the channel that live broadcasts Caillou 24/7, I mean, I've got nothing. I've got nothing to allay your fears, which is probably fine because I don't think anyone involved with Caillou is going to be watching this video. Now again, this is not legal advice. Again, any concerns people have are not invalid just because I'm not all that worried. But hell, I don't even think that the Coppa violations, like channels who are deliberately trying to be deceptive, are gonna unilaterally get nabbed by the FTC. There's gonna be just too much content. Way too much content to sift through. So never mind channels that aren't violating Coppa, I'm sure there will be Coppa violators who just get away with it. Ultimately though, this is yet another issue that YouTube should never have let get this far. Coppa isn't new. It's been around since 1998. It's as old as Pokemon itself. And during the entire time of its existence, YouTube should never have allowed targeted ads to run on children's content. It should never have allowed children's content creators to think it was okay, and in some cases build a career that is now fucked. And that's one concern I have. If YouTube allowed this to go on for so long, what other fucking violations are here that YouTube simply hasn't bothered to address? Because at the end of the day, YouTube is YouTube, and I'm a lot more scared of this very platform than I am of the FTC.